Do a nice little bob on Diane here, and she came in with a little bit of an inverted bob, so she has shorter in the back and longer in the front, and she just wants to even everything out. So I started her at a middle part. This is going to be a lot like your blunt cut, just a shorter version. I started her with a middle part. I'm going to section out my sides, and because she wants to even everything up but not take a lot of length off, I'm not going to take much length off the back at all, only what she needs. If she came in, it depends on when her last haircut was. I want to clean her up really nicely, but I don't want to take a lot of length off the back because that's going to take even more length off the front. I want to take very minimal length off of the back here because we're going to end up taking probably a good inch off the front. So I'm going to section out my back. She's a beautiful color. And I'm going to start with my first section. And I'm going to follow the shortest point that she has, which seems to be right in the middle here. I'm just going to very slightly trim that and then start to even everything up. You can kind of see where her angle starts. So I'm going to take more off the sides than I am in the middle. And doing the same with the other side. Okay. Once I finish that section, bring my next section down. Keeping your sections very clean, okay? Make sure I can see my guide in there. See the guide through that hair? Again, just taking a smidge off of the middle. I'm gonna take a little bit more off of the sides.
I was helping her.
Same thing with the other side. Bring down my last section. Following my guide again. Not much to cut in the middle, but I see a little bit on those sides to cut. And evening everything up. And then this side. Keeping following that guide. Now I'm going to move to the sides. Like I said, you're going to cut more off the sides than you are off the back, so just follow your guide. She does want to even everything up, so this is how you're going to do it with this haircut. That is an okay thing. Don't get nervous when you see that you have to cut more off the sides than you're cutting off the back. Bring your next section down. Follow that guide in there. Moving to the other side. Following that guide. You can see my guide through her hair. If you lose your guide and you can't see it through the hair, you gotta regroup and find it. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is pull the front down. Make sure she's looking even on both sides. If there is a little bit of unevenness, I'm just gonna cut that tiny piece off. You don't wanna cut too much off or else you're going to create that hole in the front like I talked about in our blunt video. You wanna make sure there's a nice length in the front here. Last thing I'm gonna do with this haircut, after I've checked that it's even on both sides, is I'm gonna have her look down. Very important for this haircut to have them look down because a lot of people have colics at the base of their neck that when they have longer hair, you wouldn't notice. But now that we're going a little shorter, you're gonna see the cowlicks poking out possibly. So what I usually do with these haircuts, there's a couple of ways you can get rid of these under hairs. You can already see it peeking out of here, over here. You can already see it peeking out over here. Now, depending on how short they are, I can push their hair to the base of their neck and cut with my scissors across their neck, okay? Being very careful not to cut them. It's a little bit harder to do on a mannequin because I can't really get my scissors in there. You can see it a little bit better from here. See those hairs sticking out underneath? Here's my base. Here's where I want to cut. I want to cut all that hair off. Or you can bring in trimmers and just kind of zip, zip, zip it out, okay? So either way, whatever way is easier for you, because we're on a mannequin, I'm just gonna use my fingers and I'm gonna cut all these little hairs that are hanging out. This is going to make the haircut look so much cleaner. You also may have to go in, depending on their cowlicks, you also may have to go in and kind of eye where you wanna cut the hair. Because if their cowlick is sticking out, when you're finished drying, you've done your finishing, and they have a little hair piece sticking out, that's how their hair is gonna naturally lay. It may be even with the rest of the haircut, but you do not want that piece sticking out when they go to style their hair. So you wanna make sure that all of this is really nice and cleaned up. So you may have to go in and cut a few pieces shorter than you normally would. See this piece right here? I would just go in and snip that off. Just so that when they go home, they're not thinking, oh, I have a hair sticking out. You know, when they look in the mirror at the back of their head, they're not thinking we cut their hair evenly. Even though we know that it's nice and straight, we want it to appear straight. So after you're done with that piece, I would dry her, make sure everything again looks even, make sure the front's even, that point is cut off, she's nice and blunt, and then she's good to go.